Okay, so let's get right into it. For about 100 years, Einstein's theory of general relativity has been, the absolute bedrock of physics. But what if, and this is a huge what if, for all its genius, it's actually a beautiful prison? In this explainer, we're going to unpack physicist Eric Weinstein's wild argument that modern physics is trapped, and the only way out might be to rescue Einstein from himself.
And bam, that quote right there is the whole problem in a nutshell. Weinstein says to think of Einstein's theory like a gorgeous tower, but one that's built on shaky, unstable ground. I mean, it looks incredible, but the foundation is just fundamentally wrong. It's a really powerful idea that, honestly, challenges everything we think we know about physics.
So, where are we seeing the first signs of trouble? Well, if you look up at the cosmos, some recent astronomical data is hinting that the perfect, smooth face of our model of the universe might be starting to crack. This slide really frames the current debate perfectly. For decades, right, the picture of dark energy has been this simple cosmological constant, just a fixed number that means the universe ends in a long, slow, cold heat death. But now, new hints from the DESI experiment suggest dark energy might not be constant at all. It could be changing, evolving over time, which, wow, that opens the door to way more dramatic endings, like a big rip or a big crunch.
But here's the thing. For Weinstein, this whole debate is kind of missing the real point. He says that even if these new experimental hints just vanish tomorrow, it doesn't matter one bit. The cosmological constant was always, and I'm using his words here, a preposterous and ridiculous idea. The real problem isn't the new data, it's the theory itself.
And all of this builds up to the central idea, the core metaphor of this whole explainer, that general relativity is a trap. It's just so successful, so beautiful, that physicists can't even see the bars of the cell it's built around them. Look, Weinstein isn't trying to tear down Einstein's legacy here. Not at all. He's saying Einstein built an absolute masterpiece, a work of art, but he did it without checking the foundation first. And now, a century later, we're all living inside this magnificent skyscraper that's fundamentally unstable. And frankly, we're all too scared to even go down to the basement and check the bedrock. So what is this faulty foundation? Weinstein calls it the cardinal sin of general relativity, the metric. In simple terms, before Einstein does anything else, he basically lays down a complete rulebook for measuring distance and angles everywhere in the universe. And that single choice, made right at the very beginning, locks everything that comes after it into this incredibly rigid structure. Now, to make this idea a little more real, Weinstein uses this fantastic analogy. Just picture that at every single point in the universe, you have this little toolkit with 10 instruments. 4 of them are rulers, one for x, one for y, one for z, and one for time. The other 6 are protractors, measuring all the angles between them, including these really weird angles between space and time. Einstein predefines this entire toolkit for the whole universe, and Weinstein argues that that move is what builds the prison walls.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, this isn't about demolition. According to Weinstein, this is actually a rescue mission for Einstein's legacy. The goal is to finally create a real theory of everything. How do you break out? I mean, you can't use the same tools that built the prison in the first place, right? You need a totally new set of mathematical blueprints.
So on the left, you've got the old math that built the prison, the Einstein-Hilbert action. And yeah, it produced one perfect, beautiful piece of math for curvature, but it could never find another piece that was just as good to be its partner. Then on the right, you have what Weinstein thinks is the key to the escape, the Chern-Simons functional. It's a completely different mathematical engine that he believes can give us a much more solid foundation to rebuild physics on.
And what's crazy is that Einstein himself knew something was off. He felt this deep imbalance in his own work. The fine marble, that was the pure, elegant geometry of space-time. But the cheap wood, well, that was the clunky, unsatisfying way he had to kind of bolt matter and energy onto the side. The two halves just didn't fit together right.
So the mission becomes really clear. The goal isn't to knock down that beautiful marble wing. No way. It's to carefully lift it up, move it to better soil, that new mathematical foundation, and then build the rest of the mansion to finally match its quality, to finally unify all the forces of nature. Now, I know this all sounds very abstract, right? But Weinstein argues that the consequences of staying in this prison are incredibly real and, well, profound for all of us.
This quote he references, "The stars are too high," it just gets right to the heart of it. With the physics we have now, the cosmos just feels impossibly vast, completely out of reach.
I mean, just look at the hard numbers. The speed of light limit, which comes directly from Einstein's framework, makes a trip to even our closest star neighbor a 100,000-year journey. As Weinstein puts it,
That effectively means we are stranded on this planet with no realistic hope of ever becoming an interstellar species.
And this is why it matters so much. This isn't just some squabble for academics in an ivory tower. This is about our ultimate potential. Breaking out of Einstein's prison isn't just about finding a better equation. It could literally be the only way to make sure humanity has a future out there among the stars.
So what's stopping us, right? If the theory has flaws and the stakes are this high, why hasn't a revolution already kicked off? Well, the problem, Weinstein suggests, might not be in our theories, but in ourselves.
He points to a culture in theoretical physics that's developed this only game in town mentality. It's created an environment where, if you challenge the foundational assumptions, you're discouraged, and new ideas, especially from outsiders, often get dismissed before they even get a fair shot. He reminds us that science is supposed to be about questioning and failure, not about dogma.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty provocative question to chew on. If physics really is trapped inside a beautiful prison, what other brilliant ideas, what other potential keys to the universe are we completely failing to see simply because we're too afraid to question the walls around us?